And number 4 on my list is kind of a cheat. I fully acknowledge that, and I expect some people to be irritated that this one ended up on the list as opposed to maybe some of the other ones, because this isn't a music act, but is still technically a concert. Number 4 is Dave Chappelle. I attended his pop-up, one of two pop-up shows that he performed at the Summit Music Hall down in Denver earlier in March, I think it was. And I'll tell you the story about it, even though it's like I said, it's not a music concert, and I know everything on my Facebook page and on this YouTube channel mostly revolves around music. But a stand-up show is technically a concert, and I had such a good time at this show that it felt like cheating to not put it on the list. So even though maybe it is cheating to put it on the list, I don't really give a fuck because it's my list. Dave Chappelle announced the day before, so he I can't remember, there was somebody performing at the Comedy Works on like Wednesday and Thursday night, and Dave Chappelle just showed up, and so they obviously gave him the mics because they gave him the stage, because when Dave Chappelle walks in, that's what you do. If he wants to perform, you let him perform. He's one of these comedians that's been around forever. That's, well, not forever, but he did definitely help forge the way for modern comedy. If you look through, he's one of the most prominent figures of the last 20, 30 years. Definitely, without question. And so he was performing these random pop-up appearances. Everybody thought maybe he was going to do a surprise full pop-up show instead of just random appearances. And that was true. Thursday night he announced, hey, tomorrow I'm doing 2 shows at the Summit Music Hall. And tickets were $100 a piece. It was sold out like that, but I was able to snag one. If you're unfamiliar with the area, the Summit Music Hall is a pretty tiny venue that a lot of like underground rock bands kind of play. It was funny. I can't remember any of the band names, but those kind of bands all have funny ass names like Pussy Hammer or something. I can't even remember what they were called, but seeing Dave Chappelle's name on the marquee sign next to all those other bands was hilarious. But the venue's pretty small as a general admission venue, and for this it was even smaller because we were all seated. So I'm not sure. Maybe there was a couple hundred chairs in there, but I doubt it. Maybe Dave Chappelle just decided he needed money, or maybe he just wanted to do a show. Either way, it was a cool last minute, like low key thing, seeing somebody as giant as Dave Chappelle in a little venue like that. And I got there a little early. My seat was front row center, so I was right up next to him. And he came out holding no punches, making jokes about stuff that shouldn't be joked about by everybody, obviously, but he has the ability to make jokes about certain things and it not seem offensive, or at least it seems okay, is what I'm saying. Like, if I got up on stage and started joking about some of these things, I would probably be hung and it would probably be fair, but he's his persona and just his characteristics, he's just one of the best stand-up comedians of all time. And seeing him live in a surprise appearance like that, a show that you wouldn't assume he put that much work behind. It's not like you're watching somebody who's taping a special who's been touring for years, kind of molding out all this material. This was just a show that it didn't seem like he'd worked that hard on, and it's number 4 on my list of 22 shows. And there's another comedian on my, not on this list, but on the overall list of 22 shows. And so, yeah, it's number 4 mostly just because of how amazing it was and how much fun I had. And it was my first time seeing a comedy show besides the Trump campaign when it came through, and I went to a live recording of the Jay and Silent Bob podcast. But this is my first actual like stand-up comedian, and it was fucking awesome. So number 4 on the list is Dave Chappelle at the Summit Music Hall.